Let's do this. Zach Show.
How has your music making process changed? I mean, obviously you're more vulnerable, but are the mechanics of how you actually create a record, are they the same?
Pretty much. I mean, I feel like when you're making music, or at least since I've been making music, I still have the same approach as far as like just allowing the creativity to inspire me. So whatever it takes, like I still move around the room, I dance around the room, I still jump around, I do things like walk in the room, walk out the room and come back in the room, see how the beat affects me when I walk in the room. I'll ride in a car and write a song too. I wrote the song Get Up in a car as well.
I get it.
So the process is just whatever it takes is what I do. That's kind of my attitude with making music, because it really can require like a lot of different things to inspire you. Sometimes I let the record sit for a second and come back to it. Level Up was called Yummy before I finalized it to be called Level Up. Yeah. And then I said, Y-U-M-M-Y, watch me. And then one day I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm like, I think I'm gonna do a countdown. Like I want it to be the drop before Level Up comes on again. Like I want people to kind of have the fun anticipation of the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I changed Yummy to the countdown, and then changed the title of the song from Yummy to Level Up. So it just depends. Like it's just whatever it takes.
But those two elements make the record. But,
like I did for Goodies. Same thing.
That's it. But those are also things that are kind of unique to you, whether it's a countdown or a break in the song where you can do a countdown and those catchy words.
Yeah. The wordplay is key. The wordplay is key. I think you learn that like some of the best songs that we like in this world are ABC. It's like that we love that are like real hits. It has to be ABC or else most of the world cannot digest it. And I think that's kind of the important formula that you want to have in your music. So I'm always thinking like, is this complicated? And there's some records that I put out that are kind of like maybe a little bit more complicated, but that's just my artist passion for that record. But all in all, I always like listen. I'm like, is this complicated for the ears? Like, how do my kids react to the record? You know, how does my grandma react to the record? Can they digest what I'm saying? Like, is it just too much going on in the hook? Reel it back. That's like my newest single, Thinking About You.
That's a feel-good record.
Yay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of my favorite songs on this album, which I actually didn't write this record. I have to shout out Esther Dean and the Space Primates on this record. But when I heard it, it was very ABC. Like, Thinking About You did not leave my head. And I wanted to hear it over and over again. I'm like, to me, it's ABC. And I know what it makes me feel. And there's also the feeling thing. Whatever you feel, like when it feels right to you, then it's right in a lot of cases. But that was what that song was for me. It was very like easy to listen to. My kids can sing it back, or at least my daughter tries to. She's just 2 years old. But it's a feel-good song, you know. And so those elements in records are really important, the ABC element, and can people digest it?
Head above water. Can't part the sea, can't reach the shore. My voice becomes a driving force. I won't let this pull me overboard. Is that a hard song to write or a hard song to record? Is it easy to get it out?
So I came up with this concept in bed, and like I literally thought I was going. And my mom was like laying there with me, and this concept came, and I wrote down all these lyrics, and then later on, maybe it was 6 months later, I met Travis Clark of We the Kings.
Icon.
And I heard him playing piano at a party, and I went over and he was singing, and I just thought he was absolutely like incredible. And I was like, bro, do you want to write a song together? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he came over, and I had this idea, and so I took it to him, and we finished that together. And it was like a really amazing like experience working with him. He's so talented, and we kind of felt like God gave us the rest of those lyrics, and it just like was instant and like all came together.
And even how you met him, right? Because you're at a very vulnerable stage, and you've been in rooms with people. It's not always easy to open up and share your deepest stuff with somebody you don't know. Mm-hmm. So you just meet him at a party, and then you go into the into a session, and this comes out.
Yeah, I could just tell he was just such a great guy, and there was something really special about him, and I also felt like he was probably like brought into my life to like help me finish the song.
Wow. So you, it's cool. Back to Dumb Blonde. I mean, the title, the record. Where does it? Like,
Should we go dark with this? Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Same guy
Really?
called me a dumb blonde,
Wait, shut the.
misogynist.
Who is?
And I was like,
Oh my God, he's insecure.
okay, there's a song title. So I got together with my friend Bonnie McGee, and she's amazing.
Incredible songwriter.
And Mitch Allen. I was like, hey, I got this song concept. And then so I just turned like another like negative into a positive and wrote like an empowerment song about it's okay to be a strong, independent woman, to be working, to have an opinion, to have drive, to be a leader, to be an alpha, whatever you want to call it, and you don't have to feel bad for that. You know, if you want to like be a chick who like stays at home and like has like a chill life or whatever, that's one thing. And if you want to be out and working, that's another thing. And you should be able to be whoever you are.
Amen.
And like I was getting judged for that, and which is so gnarly. And it's just like, don't put me on the bench. Don't talk down to me. Don't condescend me. And it's okay to be, just because I'm blonde doesn't mean I'm dumb, obviously. I mean, I definitely have my moments, but don't we all?
How soon after that he calls you that do you go and write a record? Do you need to get it out immediately, or do you let it kind of marinate?
I kept it in the back of my mind, and then probably just like a few months later, because I was making a record.
So it came out.
Yeah.
Do you write, like, how do you document your stuff? Like, how do you creatively keep track of all your stuff, ideas?
I have journals. Well, I have like notebooks, like a pile of them. And then I use my phone. Like I'm constantly writing in notes.
Just voice memos? Do you do voice memos?
Yeah, I'll sit down at the piano and come up with a chord progression, melodies, and absolutely have to record those voice notes.
Writing a record like Dumb Blonde, empowerment, but also the one thing that I also keep seeing as we were talking is like your greatest music comes from moments of like deep darkness and struggle and self-discovery, and like when things happen or like you go through stages of like just change.
Yeah.
Your greatest music comes out. Is that like blessing and a curse?
I think it's a good thing. When I'm happy, it's really hard to write music. And then I fell in love and I had like nothing.
Is it because you were happy?
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful human. I got these on Deal Dash. Yeah. Here's the deal. I'm going to tell you about Deal Dash. This is a flashlight that I got from Deal Dash. I should stop waving it around. Deal Dash is pretty great. When I was first like totally exploring the internet, I came across these bidding websites early on, like 2008, 2009. I was just trying to get stuff cheap, and I was a kid, and they all scammed me. And then Deal Dash was born. They have rethought what it means to bid for things online. They've created a fair community, a fair place for you to actually spend your money honestly and to get really cool stuff in the process for a much cheaper price. If you're interested at all in like exploring what Deal Dash is and what it means to bid on something, DealDash.com exists. There's going to be a link in the bio. They have reimagined what it means to bid. I want to wave this around because I'm so passionate about them, but that is not a good thing. I got this speaker. It's pretty cool from Deal Dash as well, but always free shipping when you use Deal Dash. I can try this stuff out and then return it. I have 90 days to do that. Plus, they're offering hundreds of auctions every single day on a ton of different stuff. Want a dashboard camera? I got one of those from Deal Dash. Sunglasses with many frames? I got one of those from Deal Dash. It's pretty cool. If you're actually interested in trying it out, I got a pretty cool deal for you. Right now, you can go to DealDash.com and get 100 bids with your first bid pack purchase. Go to DealDash.com and just enter the code ZachSang right now. DealDash.com. Zach saying you can start bidding today. By the way, people have gotten iPads for less than $24. They've spent $11 on televisions. Oh, 4K TVs? They've got it for under $2. DealDash.com. They literally have everything, and it's really the only place to bid fairly. Was that your goal with Nightmare? Was it to start a conversation?
Yes, it was. It was to start a conversation and to end a conversation.
Cool.
Both. And it was also so coincidentally timed, because it came during the abortion ban, like the week that a lot of that started coming to a head and like culminating in culture, which was really unexpected. And I had a lot of people say to me like, you timed that so well. Like, how did you know so many women were going to be angry this week? And I kept saying, if you think this is the first reason women have had to be angry, you're not paying attention at all. Wow, I just got lucky or unlucky enough that another reason to be angry happened. But let's be honest here, a roll of the dice is any week that I put that song out, there's probably a reason for women to be mad, so it would have worked whenever.
By the way, going back like 100 years.
Yeah, I could have put this song out in 1920 and people would have been like, yep.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and hopefully that's where it ends. Hopefully if I put this song out 20 years from now, people would be like, nah, that's such an old school mentality, like we've come so far.
That's
what I'm hoping, is that I hope the timeliness of this record stops soon,
No, I won't smile, but I'll show you my teeth, and I'm going to let you speak if you just let me breathe. I've been polite, but won't be caught dead. Letting a man tell me what I should do with my bed.
Yes.
Power.
Thank you. That was fun to write.
I mean, freeing? What are you thinking about when you write those lyrics?
A song like this is one of the ones that kind of just like comes out. And it kind of started as like it started as like a slam poem kind of. So it was kind of like, and I do a lot of those. I did one at the Women's March. I did one at, the Glamour Conference. Like I do a lot of these slam poems because I just love, rhyming to me is like art. Like when I'm building a sentence or like building a poem, it's like picking the right colors and the right shapes and the right pieces, the right medium, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff. So when I started writing Nightmare, it was kind of like, it was almost supposed to be delivered more like, I've tasted blood and it is sweet. I've had the rug pulled beneath my feet. I've trusted lies and trusted men, broke down and put myself back together again, stared in a mirror and punched at the shatters, collected the pieces, then picked out a dagger. And I've pinched my skin in between my two fingers and wished I could cut some parts off with some scissors. Like it was meant to be almost like a slam poem. That
rhythm flows very naturally.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of rap music. I read a lot of Emily Dickinson and Sylvia Plath, and I listen to a lot of rap music, so that's what you get.
That is a beautiful combination.
There you go. So Emily Dickinson, but Migo. Make it Migos. That's basically how I write.
So what changes between the slam poem version of Nightmare and the musical record version of that record?
I think that with a song like that, I always kind of instinctively approach a more like nursery, rhymey kind of mentality.
Well, is that like strategic?
It is strategic, but it's not intentional. It's like subconsciously strategic.
Got it.
Because sometimes I think when you're like quote unquote teaching people something,
Simplicity.
there's like, when something is mnemonic and it has like the right rhyme pattern to make it memorable or the right melody to make it simplified, that's what helps the message kind of come across. Like there's a reason when you were in school, your teachers taught you all the states in alphabetical order by making you sing the song, or like all the presidents, or like your times tables by making you sing the songs, because a song is memory. It's a mnemonic device.
Are you teaching people morals through?
I'm hopefully teaching my audience. You know what's so funny about Nightmare though is that when I was working the record, I'm still working the record. That's the funny thing about music is sometimes you put it out and you're like, the finish line, and then you're like, nope, the starting line. But I realized it was the first song I ever wrote where the people that the song wasn't written for were the people it was more important to reach.
Yeah.
It was the first song I wrote where it's like, if you're a feminist or you're like, if you're someone who's already like a part of the fight, I'm glad that this song serves as an anthem for you, but this song is more important for me to reach the people who are not. You know, like we set to do a performance of it on The Voice, and I had a really strange relationship with with not the show, but with some of the audience. I love The Voice. I was like a guest judge. I was like, I think everyone's really, really cool over there. But I had performed Without Me on it like a year ago with Jade Bug, who's like the greatest dancer of my generation. She's amazing. And we did like a contemporary dance, and a lot of the audience like freaked out, and they were like, "What is this lesbian stuff on my TV during prime time?" I'm like, "It's 11 p.m. Your kid should be in bed, but fine." Anyway, and so I was kind of nervous to go back on the show again and do Nightmare, and I was like, I feel like people aren't gonna get it. I feel like that same audience is gonna freak out. And then I had this moment of like, that's why I need to do it. It's not about the people that I'm going to please who are going to get it. It's about the people whose maybe minds I can change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's the first song I've ever had that's really been like that. You know?
You wrote the record for the girls being told to smile, but the people who need to hear are the people telling them to smile.
100%. And it's been really interesting because I've seen it happen. Like, I've literally been in a building doing an interview explaining the song. And like, this is a true story. I was in a building giving an interview about the song, and as we were leaving, heard someone say to a girl, "You can smile." Oh. And I was like, is anyone listening to me?
No.
I literally just said. And it was just this moment of like, oh gosh, Ash, you have a long way to go. Oh man. Or the people I do the interviews with, and they're like, Halsey, come on. Is that real? People really tell you you need to smile? I can't imagine anybody walking up to you and saying that. I'm like, how immune to the female experience are you?
Well, it's like catcalling.
Yeah, have you ever? I'm looking at this guy who's like, does that really happen? I'm like, have you ever left this office before? Yeah. Do you live here? Is your bed under the desk? Like, did they keep you in a cage and let you out to do your job? Like, have you ever been in the real world before? Also, it was happening in New York City, where I was like, New York City practically invented catcall culture. Mm-hmm. That is something that basically every young woman there
goes through.
Like,
you see it all day, every day there.
But by the way, like, I'm just so sorry that, like, if that was a radio interview, how I don't know, sheltered the creators in this medium genuinely are. A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them.
Well, I think they have the privilege of working with women who are also in a position of privilege. Because, like, a lot of the women that you guys probably interact with are women like me.
Yeah, professionally, I guess. Yeah.
Professionally.
Yeah.
They're either your peers or they're on the show with you.
Mm-hmm. Or they're
stars.
Celebrities. Yeah. So they just assume that you're on a pedestal and you've experienced nothing of reality.
Or that I'm protected.
Yeah, you hover.
Which is one thing I talked about in my Women's March speech, was that becoming famous didn't stop me from being sexually harassed. It didn't protect me at all. And that's a really interesting thing about the gender divide in the way we raise young people is there are some young men in this world, and one of them is in office, who dream of having power so they can abuse that power.
Oh, yeah.
And there are young women who dream of having power so that they will no longer have to be abused. And that is the ultimate divide. Is that a young man gets to grow up and go, I can't wait till I have power because I can do whatever I want and no one will stop me. And a young woman goes, once I have power, I won't have to worry about anyone using theirs against me. And that is the ultimate, like, that's the discrepancy in the whole thing.
But it's not even fully true, because you can look at you. Somebody can look at you and say, Halsey has power. Halsey is protected. But none of that stopped anything.
I have a bodyguard, and it doesn't stop me from getting sexually harassed. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Reality still hits.
And that's privilege as well, is knowing that even like I go through it and still makes me think I can't imagine what it's like to be in a position where you are so wildly unprotected and you're going through it. And you don't have the financial independence or the emotional support system or the professional longevity to know I can stand up for myself. because other women don't have that, and so they fear standing up for themselves. And I have that and still fear standing up for myself sometimes. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's like, I got really dense there for a second.
But it needs to be said. And to be honest, like I genuinely feel that the only way we see proper change is for, it doesn't need to be all, but for some women to take this fear and focus into achieving power, but power that is genuinely lasting.
Yeah.
Power that is an elected office. Because once you're in an elected office, you can actually make change.
It's diffusion of responsibility too, because then you get to give other young women power.
That's it.
You get to designate power, and you get to share that power.
One woman in power, one woman in office has the potential to impact and inspire so many women off of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, save lives and change the way our system works.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that it's come to this. I mean, the fact that women need to run for office to make sure that their own bodies are freaking protected.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, is women dream of having power so that they don't have to worry about have power used against them.
We need selfless civil servants. It's a huge
Yeah.
need in our society. With Nightmare, obviously achieving something lyrically that is so who you are, but the music and the instruments attached to it are you.
Yeah.
They're totally you. I mean, I think we would know it's you because we know you.
Because you guys know me.
But the sound of it, the rock of it,
Yeah.
it is different than anything else.
I think I just kind of like, I have like a little bit more like agency now, I guess. Like, I just don't know if I thought I could make a song like that before. I think that was like an unrealistic reality for me.
So you've wanted to.
I don't even think it was in my wheelhouse. Like, I think that making music the past couple years, I don't think it ever would have occurred to me that I could do that. And then after years of playing shows and seeing the crowd and like, you know, coming to a place where like I've been off tour for a while. I stopped my tour in like September or something. And even so, I was in Europe for like a couple months. But now that I'm starting to do shows again, there's people who've been working with me since without me.
Wow.
And they're coming to my shows. They're coming to Webster Hall or they're coming wherever. And they're like, whoa, your show's like a rock show.
You rock.
And I'm like, yeah.
Well, Badlands was a lot of rock.
That's what I'm saying. It was like that album was like industrial pop. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's talking about like all the Nine Inch Nails influences in culture right now, and how there's like, you know, the Trent Reznor interpolations in the Black Mirror episode. You know, Five Sauce just put out Easier, which is like super Nine Inch Nails influence. Like, there's a lot of that going on, and I'm sitting here thinking like, heck yeah, I want to see more of that, because that's kind of the stuff that inspired songs like Castle or Control, or like some of the earlier stuff on my albums was like that industrial approach to pop music. But I think that I needed to grow into a song like Nightmare, because getting on stage and screaming from your, like, gutturally screaming from your insides, like, I can't put a song like that out unless I can promise myself and the world that I'm going to be able to deliver when I perform it. And I don't think I was in like a good enough place or a confident enough place.
Well, I was going to ask, why was it important for you to yell and scream these lyrics?
Because I was angry, and because it felt good, and because I've seen so many young people in the audience at my shows, and I watch when those parts come into songs. Like, I watch it during Gasoline when they scream, "Do you call yourself a hurricane like me?" Or during 100 Letters when the girls are screaming, "I don't let him touch me anymore." You know, those moments where they're screaming, and I was like, I want more of that. I want them to feel when they leave my show like they got it all out, like they screamed it all out. But like, they're not going to do that unless I give them the songs to scream to.
Is that what Nightmare was for you? Getting something all out there?
Yeah, I got it off my chest for sure. I was like, it feels good. I put that out and I was like, yeah, whew, okay. Like, I don't know. It's like when you're like, you finally get a good scream or a good cry out and you feel so much better, and you're like, how long have I been holding that in? Oh my God. Whoa.
20-something years.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, throughout all the records you've created, is there one that's been the most difficult?
To perform or to make?
To craft.
Ooh. Nightmare was pretty hard because it's a really nuanced record, and I had a lot to say, not a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I was trying to make a political record that didn't feel whiny.
Dude, you don't get politics out of that record or any sort of moral anything until listened to.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Because I'm tricking everyone. I wanted to make sure I could trick everyone.
it's well done.
And like you're singing along, and then all of a sudden you're like, "What am I singing? Oh my gosh!" I did that. That was kind of like what we did with "Bad at Love," which was really fun. There's a lot of people who would sing along to that song at the top of their lungs, and then like 10 listens later, be like, "Oh, she's gay." Oh, wait, did she say "she" in the second part of this song? Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people who were like really singing along to that record, and then after like 10 listens were like, "Oh my gosh, she's singing about men and women. I didn't even notice."
But that's how it works. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's new. Well, that's part of the difficulty, is making something that's not gratuitous, is making something that's not like, that's the hardest thing about pop culture, is making sure that your identity and your message is concise and digestible, but if your audience wants it to be.
I understand that.
So like, Without Me, a lot of people hear that song and they're like, "Yeah, screw you. Think you could live without me?" Like, heh. Like, you know what I mean? And they're just like singing along, whatever. Like, I love that song. And then there's like a whole other group of people who have dealt with domestic violence or dealt with, toxic relationships and like narcissists and like people in their life. And they hear that song, and it's like, part of delivering that song was, how do I give a message to people in positions of need, but bury it under it as in a secret message it's like in a secret language that you'll only understand if you need it.
And
You know
they
what
hear
I
it.
mean? Yeah, and they hear it. It's there for them. And if you don't need the message, you don't hear it because you don't need to. You know what I mean?
So the actual lyrics of the song, does it start in a session that does it start from nothing, you guys getting together, or does somebody bring a lyric to the table?
Yeah, well, we worked on the song with Ali Tamposi, Andrew Watt, and Steve Mack, who it's like kind of like an all-star song, plus us and BB. It's like real like all-star combination.
Yeah. Now, are you in the studio at once together, or?
So, well, but in a bunch of different pieces. So, Ali, Steve, and Andrew started the song, and then sent it to us, and we're like, okay, I think we can do something with this, but like it can't sound anything like this. But there was some magic to it, and we've had this song for what, like
easily a year.
Oh, probably over a year, just trying to like get it right, like moving stuff around, like just writing new pieces of music, new like pieces of lyrics, like just trying to get everything like in the right order. And it took like 6 months probably to get to that point, get the production to where we like thought it was cool.
Whoa.
And then sometimes we do a song in like a day, but like this one just took a long time.
But that's a common thread through some of the collaborations, because it was the same thing with 5 Seconds of Summer. Like that
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah.
long time to do.
Yeah, that is true. I guess our last 2 big collaboration songs. Oh, I mean, we've had a lot of.
Yeah. This feeling was
so
like
much music.
This feeling was like written in a day, and then you produced it like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So I guess it really is just always different. It also depends like how many cooks are in the kitchen though, because like
that's true
like
too.
a lot of the time, like obviously like ultimate respect to like Ali, Andrew, and Steve, but like they can tell us you like need to work on this more or make it more like this or do this. Whereas like this feeling was just like in-house. So it's like if we're happy with it, we're happy with it. You know what I mean? And then we'll tinker with it. Obviously, it's not just like you just are like that was good. Here it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when there's other people in it, you like gotta wait for feedback. They like you know
they have a lot invested.
It's
but
everyone's, What's everyone's song? You want to be respectful of everyone who's worked on it, you know?
and you want that, because that's kind of the challenge, right? I guess when they push you and it's a give and a take, I guess.
I mean, everyone has a different skill set and thing they're like really good at, especially, like when you look into certain camps of people that like are writer camps, it's like, oh, this guy's the best guy for drums. This guy isn't a lyrics person, but he can like crush harmonies. Or this guy is the best vocal producer, period, like Louis Bell, So there's just like, there's different people who offer the thing, and then you learn a lot from it because you're like, oh, that was actually like a great idea, or, like, I'm glad you forced me to spend an extra week on this, ultimately. Sometimes you're just like, no, you're an I hate this. And then you have to push back too, you know what I mean? Because it's like...
Well, because they have to respect you just like you respect them.
Exactly. And that's a cool thing about this whole process.
Isn't it kind of weird that, like, as you've progressed, and your original hits, right? They were just you guys, and it started maybe a little bit more organically. And you do you feel like you still know what a hit sounds like? Because there's so many. It's a different creative process now.
It's not really
At all.
It's all well. You're right in that it's different, but it's not that it's different now and from then. It's that every song is different. Like Alex was just talking about, like everyone has like a different set of skills, and depending who we work on a song with, whether it's an artist, a writer, a producer, whatever, we've learned to be very malleable and show up and be like, we might have to play guitar today, make beats today, write lyrics today. You try to figure out how to get the most out of every like musical experience you have with somebody. So there are songs to this day that are just us, as there were when we started, and there are songs when we started that were like we wrote like "Don't Let Me Down" with Emily Warren, who's now a frequent collaborator with us, as you know. And This Feeling was like just us and Emily,
What fuels the want to get something out of a session? Is it the fact that you have to create a lot of music, which you brought up, because of how people consume it today? Like you want to make it worth it?
We definitely pay attention to like the way people consume things, but what's lucky for us is like this is our second like building album concept, where we put out a bunch of songs and they make up a compilation, or they make up an album. And the reason for that being, like, we want to put out albums because we believe in like chapters of an artist's career, and if this is the phase that we're in. But the way that we write and produce all the time, not because like we're like we need to like come up with a new song because like everyone just like wants more and more stuff. It's more of like, which it may be true, but it's more like we're always touring, we're always producing. We don't want to like, I feel like when we put all of our effort into one song at a time, we get a better product.
Because now this is an Ariana Grande and Social House
Yeah,
record.
this is our collective song.
So when you get there, how completed is the record? Where is it at? Do you remember?
She had her verse and the hook.
Yeah.
And
the
what-
hook idea. And so like literally that night I started writing my verse, and sometimes whenever I wanted to like respond to her in the song, so it like took me a while to make sure like it was like good and worth hearing.
How many times do you listen to her verse in order to understand what she's saying to write the proper response?
Like once or twice. I mean, it's very straightforward
It's clear.
what she's talking about. Like it's like, okay.
And do you write your own verse, Scooty?
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually wrote mine the next day after we performed at the Forum. I ran off stage and went in our green room and recorded it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy. So literally, it all happened in the span of like 24 hours ish or whatever. And then we recorded some background vocals in like a haunted hotel in some random city. Seriously, it was a haunted hotel. We didn't know it was haunted till the next day, but it was like crazy haunted.
Do most of your records start with you and a guitar?
Yeah, a lot. Also, Summer Days started, and I write a lot of demos, and then just send them out. We're like, oh, this would be cool for this artist, and then we reach out to the artist, and they're like, wow, this is sick. I want to jump on this. And then, of course, the artist afterwards can change anything they want lyrically, melodic-wise. It's basically just a rough placeholder or like a rough concept for them to polish.
But they can change it, but at the end of the day, it's still your say, right?
Yeah, 100%. But it's a team. It's a team thing. They do something, send it back to me. I'm like, this is sick. What you did there, maybe this. It's cool how it was before. It's like you play ping pong with the ideas. You go back and forth, and it's really, really fun.
You challenge each other.
Yeah.
It's collaboration.
Writing, I live to write. I write more often than I ever have, because I've started allowing myself to write in fragments versus like, oh, you have to sit down at 11 o'clock with a co-writer and finish a song by 3, because that's how it was for me for a while.
Got it. So you're like, as you live, you write, because
Now, yes.
you're less. I don't want to say like you care less about the margins of the actual business. You care more about the product, right? Because if you set up a session with somebody, money goes into that. You need to come out of that with a song.
Right.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I try to surround myself with people who think the same way, which is not necessarily that we don't care at all about the margins, whatever, but my greatest achievements have come from not thinking of those things and starting from nothing. And so I think in every creative aspect of my life, there has to be nothing to lose. Like, I love working at home because no one has to approve a budget. No one has to know when I'm working. No one has to know what I'm working on. I can fail miserably and no one knows. Or if it's awesome, I can send it to somebody and say, I really believe in this.
Hey, beautiful human, real quick. Everybody knows about the risks of driving drunk. You could get in a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But let's take a moment to look at some surprising statistics. Almost 29 people in the United States die every day in an alcohol-impaired vehicle crash. That's one person every 50 minutes. Even though drunk driving fatalities have fallen by a third in the last 3 decades, drunk driving crashes still claim more than 10,000 lives each and every year. Many people also are unaware that driving while high can be just as dangerous. In 2015, 42% of drivers killed in crashes tested positive for drugs. It's not so harmless after all, is it? Come on, get this. From 2007 to 2015, marijuana use among drivers killed in crashes doubled. The truth is, driving while high is deadly, so please stop kidding yourself. If you are impaired from alcohol or drugs, do not get behind the wheel of a vehicle. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Drive sober, or get pulled over. I really hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you did, please subscribe and also check out our podcast. There's a link in the description, and also comment and like and do things. Other interviews are on the screen somewhere, so click them. Thanks for watching.